Welcome back, guys. Today we're gonna talk about the hidden secret for training functional shoulders, whatever the fuck that means. I think very conventionally looking at shoulder function, we waste a lot of time doing like isolated rotator cuff, external rotation, internal rotation, serratus wall slides, which are probably pretty good if we're coming off of a surgery and we need some sort of high stimulus with very low load because we are set back from actually having our shit cut open, or if we are geriatric and very weak. But if we are a strong functioning human being that has had shitty shoulders, we probably need to look a little bit past that. And kind of an anecdote that I want to use is like, have you guys ever seen a gymnast who's not jacked? Gymnasts and like circus performers that do like acrobatics and stuff always have super jacked arms. When I think about who demands a lot out of their shoulders, the gymnast, dude, crazy ass position at the shoulder in terms of, getting overhead, rotation at the shoulder, getting into, in ranges of shoulder extension. There's a lot of demand at the shoulder. Now, that could be, knocked down as easy as we can knock down the fallacy of like, oh, I've never seen a male man with small calves. It's like, well, actually, I see a lot of male men with small calves. So like, is walking really the best exercise for calf hypertrophy? Probably not, right? Logically. So just as an anecdote, like gymnasts demand a lot of their shoulders. And I do think that a lot of them have jacked arms. So there probably is something there in terms of, okay, maybe we look past this, rotator cuff stuff, serratus stuff, which inarguably they are important. I'm not saying they're not important, but I think it's probably less important for us to do is very, isolated, low loadable movements, because the issue is not in our actual rotator cuff or serratus itself. It's more so in terms of how we move globally and integrating that into how we actually move at the shoulder. So all that to be said, guys, train your fucking arms, biceps, triceps, delts. We always look at these like really small muscles that are around the shoulder joint in terms of like what I've already said, as being like our issues with these small muscles. It's like it could be, but also we have all these other larger muscles that contribute to a lot of function at the shoulder. And also they just kind of build defense around the shoulder, right? If we have a lot of contractile tissue around the shoulders and we still move well, we should be able to actually, have stronger, more resilient shoulders. So, it could be training biceps, could be training triceps, could be training delts. Let's also look at like getting exposure to ranges that we suck at. Most people don't get overhead correctly enough or in a shoulder extension correctly enough. So we could think, basic, pull up and dip kind of as like being an exercise where we're going to get full exposure to overhead, full exposure to shoulder extension. But I can also just do this with my arm work. So if I do a lot of like, mid-range stuff, maybe I could just make sure I'm doing, like an incline curl, or I'm doing an overhead tricep extension. I'm doing things where I'm going to get exposure to these in ranges if I have shitty shoulders. That's probably going to do a lot more to unlock my shoulder function than me doing a bunch of remedial bullshit is. Now, if we're looking to actually get higher functioning shoulders and we're not hurt, right? This is not medical advice. I'm not trying to treat any shoulder ailment, but if you just have achy, shitty shoulders, you feel like you're immobile, integrating arm training into the ranges that we're bad at can be a very easy way for us to make this stuff less boring. Nobody wants to sit around and do like, physio exercises on their own. Everyone wants to train arms. Training arms is fucking sick. So if we can have some overlap here, where now we are training arms and we're also getting more higher quality functioning shoulders, if we can marry those things together, we're probably gonna get more buy-in from our clients, more buy-in from ourselves if we're programming for ourselves, but better results overall. So again, let's look at ways we can layer in, kind of, getting into ranges that we're not as good in, getting overhead, getting our arm behind us, doing that with arm training, also just building more muscle around the shoulder joint. That's gonna be super helpful, right? So again, biceps, triceps, they cross the shoulder joint, they attach from both the scapula and the humerus. That's probably gonna make some net effect to our ability to strengthen, to stabilize, to move, be higher functioning, through the scapula and the humerus moving together, right? Hopefully there's something to take away here. I know I didn't give a ton of examples, but really the takeaway is like just do more arms, do less remedial bullshit, do actual training. Just kind of look at, okay, where am I bad at? What are the components I need to get better at in terms of, shoulder mobility, shoulder ranges, integrate arm work there. We're probably gonna get better results in terms of how we are functioning.